as far as the water is just gonna feel absolutely amazing. Hot tubs will last 20 years or longer. It saves you money on repairs. The products that you're gonna need to have in your cabinet. Hey guys, welcome to Tub Talk, live with the Hot Tub Lady. Super excited for you guys to be here. But today we're gonna talk about hot tub water chemistry and how important it is to balance their hot tubs. When it comes to hot tub water balance, it is super important, and it is probably the most confusing piece of running your hot tub. The piece that, so you almost need to separate it. You need to have your water balance is one area, and then your chemistry or your sanitation is a whole nother area. So they're actually two separate areas, and it's really important that have the water balanced. If you don't have the water balance, you're going to destroy your hot tub, and there's a lot of things that are going to happen there. So we want to have your water balanced, and for the most part, everything's the same until you get up to hardness. When you get up to hardness, that's really different on a saltwater hot tub, and you know, that's kind of where we are. So we're going to actually just start with alkalinity, because this is the same for everyone, as we're waiting for a few more people to jump on and say, hey, and let me know what they got. But the most important is alkalinity. So make sure that you get your alkalinity in line. Alkalinity is the number one thing and the first thing you should balance. So your alkalinity needs to be between 80 and 120. Now, if you check your test strip, it will tell you it can be between 40 and 120, and that is an acceptable range, but it's really, and that's more for the people that have real acidic water coming out their tap. But the best thing for you guys to do is just take a test strip and test your water right out of the tap, so you know where you're going to fill the hot tub from, so you know where that's going to be at. And so we're going to get that alkalinity in line. If you have super high alkalinity, which is what I have a lot of in my market, super high alkalinity, somewhere between 240, 320, what we call liquid limestone coming out of the hot tub. If you have super high alkalinity, it's really super important that you get that down, and that is going to take you a long time to get that down. So like seriously, like it could take 2 to 3 tablespoons every day for 8 to 16 days to get that down. So if you have really high alkalinity, that's an issue, and we want to get that down. If you are super low alkalinity, that is super easy to fix. So if you are high in alkalinity, you will fix that with a pH decreaser. And to do that pH decreaser, again, it'll be, you got to take it over a very long period, low and slow. You're going to do it for pH decrease. You're going to do every day for 5 to 10 days, anywhere from 2 to 3 tablespoons. I do have a cheat sheet that is on my website. In fact, I will just pull that up right now so you guys can see it. So on here, so if you go to my website, thehottublady.co, and once you go there and you start at the very beginning, and if you scroll all the way to the bottom, and then you're just going to click on the chemical dosage sheet right there, and then you just click that view product, and that'll take you where you want to go. So everything I'm talking about today will actually take you to these chemical charts here, and this will tell you what you need to do to raise or lower your alkalinity. This thing is totally free for you guys, because I know it is so confusing for everyone. So this very top screen here that I'm looking at, that is to lower your alkalinity. So let's say you need to lower your alkalinity 25 part per million. More realistically, most people are probably gonna have to lose it 75 to 100 parts per million if it's really a serious issue. So let's say you have a 300-gallon hot tub and you need to lower that alkalinity 100 part per million. Not uncommon to have a 280 part per million hot tub. So if you have a 300-gallon hot tub, you need to lower 100 part per million. You're gonna go over to 100 part per million, and then you're gonna go over to 300 gallons, and that 12 tablespoons is what you're going to need to put in. This one's actually to increase. And if you go down here to lower it, so if we want to lower that pH 100 part per million in your 300 gallons, you're going to do 2 tablespoons every day for 14 days. this all makes sense when you guys actually have that in front of you, but I just want you guys to know that that is all there, and everything that we're going to talk about today is on these cheat sheets. So take a few minutes and definitely check that out. Right now, Alkalinity, go to that website. You want to get your pH, your alkalinity between 80 and 120. That's the ultimate range. You can go down to 100, you can go down to 40 to 180. But you're gonna have the best results at 80 to 120. But it does take a long time to get that in line. If you have to raise it, super easy to raise your alkalinity. You literally put a little bit of alkalinity increaser in, typically half cup, just check your dosages. Do that, and it is so simple. It is literally a quarter cup one day, let it work for 24 hours, and then you're good to go. Alkalinity is number 1. pH is number 2. And actually Michael just asked me, he says, do alkalinity and pH go hand in hand? According to the eye care unit, the chemistry is perfect, but the test strip is telling me the alkalinity is way high, going off the charts. Any thoughts? Yes, so alkalinity and pH do go hand in hand, and when it comes to the eye care, it will tell you that. So if your alkalinity gets really high on the eye care, it'll actually tell you to put a big dose of pH reducer in. My advice to you is to break that up and do that over several days versus just that one really big dose at one time, because you're actually kind of wasting your chemicals when you do that. But you will need exactly what it says. It has never been wrong on my part, but what it would tell me, I would at least divide that into thirds if it asks for a huge amount of pH decreaser. So that would be it. Alkalinity and pH do 100% go hand in hand. If you do not have your alkalinity in line, your pH will not come in line. So you definitely want to get your pH or your alkalinity in line. Once you get the alkalinity in line, the pH will fall into place in no time at all. If you're trying to get your alkalinity in line and you're using a lot of pH decreaser, let's say you're one of those customers that has to do 2 teaspoons of pH decreaser every day for 14 days, and on day 12 your pH is starting to drop, ignore that pH until that alkalinity is in line. Because if you start trying to raise that pH back up, your alkalinity, before that alkalinity is in line, you're just going to undo everything you just did. So alkalinity first, get your alkalinity in line. Once the alkalinity is in line, then you can bump your pH right back up. So you want your pH at 7.6. That's where you want it. It needs to be 7.6 part per million. Super easy. And the reason you want that is because that is actually the pH of your teardrop. And so if you're at 7.6 on the pH, you are absolutely going to love what you got going on. As far as the water is just going to feel absolutely amazing. So be sure to check that out and get that pH at 7.6. If it starts to get lower, it will become a little bit irritating, but if the alkalinity is not in line, it'll bounce right back up. So get that alkalinity in line and then the pH. If you take that pH too low while you're lowering your alkalinity, then all you need to do is add a little pH decreaser. Again, give it 24 hours to work, and it'll be right back up where you need it to be. So that works really well. A lot of big words here. Am I doing all right? Is everybody hanging in there all right? So alkalinity 80 to 120, pH to 7.6. So those are super, super important. Get those two in line before you start messing with anything else. Now you can start sanitizing and start using your hot tub before those things are in line, but there are reasons that you want to get those in line. If you have super high pH and alkalinity, you are going to create scale. And that scale, especially on your heaters and that type of stuff, is going to destroy that hot tub in no time at all. I've seen scale wreck heaters in a matter of 2 to 3 years, actually faster than that. But it just creates this white chalky residue that is it's just terrible. If you ever get in a hot tub and you can feel it feels like sandpaper, you rub your hand up against the wall and it feels like sandpaper, that is absolutely, that's high pH and alkalinity, and the scale is forming and it's dropping out of solution. So that's really important. Also, if you have high pH and high alkalinity, you're going to have scale. When you have scale, you have serious problems. So the number one product that you guys need to be using is called stain and scale control. And stain and scale control, what that does is that keeps that calcium in solution. For those of you who have high pH and alkalinity, that is something you absolutely 100% have to use. And the reason for it is it's like oil for the car. If you're not putting stain and scale into the hot tub, then this is you're going to cause so many problems, and you're physically going to cause that hot tub to seize up. You ever hear about people's jets falling out and the ball bearings coming out? That is because of scale. So that's really a big thing. If your pH, if you don't have that, please use that. Now that is a chlorine only situation. Typically your saltwater systems do not need that, and that's because you lower that pH now, or you lower that hardness at the beginning. In a lot of hot tubs, before I get too far into that, so we got alkalinity, then we have pH, and then the third thing is hardness. And that's where the scale is involved as well. I've got a nasty fly in here. That is where the scale is involved as well. So what you want to do is, if you've got anything over 150 part per million of hardness, that is where that stain and scale is going to be so important. And you're going to want to do about 3 ounces of that at least once a week. If you're on a salt system, we have to get that hardness. My salt customers here, you have to have the hardness below 75 part per million, or your salt system is not going to work. So, and there are ways to get rid of that. One is with the on-the-go water softener that we've talked about, and the number 2 reason would be, or the number 2 way to do it, is with the Vanishing Act. I do have links down below if you guys want to definitely check that out, of everything I'm talking about today. I do have links and descriptions down below on where you can buy all that, but definitely check that out. So that's important. If you have a chlorine hot tub and you have high hardness, you can use all the tips and tricks to get the hardness down. It's kind of waste of money for those of you on chlorine, because what happens there is you have to buy either an on-the-go system or you have to buy Vanishing Act. Vanishing Acts work fantastic. They're absolutely amazing. When I was looking them up, to link them down below in the description, they're about $75 a piece. They work unbelievably well. A saltwater hot tub only has to drain that water once a year. A chlorine hot tub has to drain that water every 3 to 4 months. If you want to make that investment in soften your water with that Vanishing Act, you definitely can, but you are going to have to do it every time you refill the hot tub. So kind of keep that in mind. If you're on a chlorine situation, it is less money to use stain and scale control, but it is super, super, super important. If you're on a salt system, hardness is your number 1. It's actually more important on alkalinity if you're on a salt system. If you are on a salt system, you definitely want to use on the go. That's my number 1 recommendation. Get the on the go water softener, and if you can't get one of those, get the Vanishing Act. I'll actually link a few videos. I didn't do that, but I'll link a few videos down below on how to get your hardness down if you're on a saltwater system. Those of you on chlorine, you can live with the hardness that you have, just use that stain and scale control. Chris, do you need stain and scale if you're adding soft skin spa or silk balance product weekly? Great question, Chris. So those are 2 awesome products as well. It depends on your alkalinity, where it's reading at and where your hardness is at. If you're in that, if that's all dialed in, and let's say your hardness is 150, then yes, that would take the place of that product. It's a super good product. Silk Balance and Soft Skin Spa are phenomenal products on that, and I highly recommend them. And if you're using those products, they do have a scale inhibitor in them, which is amazing, and they do a really good job. If you're in some of the markets that I have, I'm going to say if you're above 180 part per million or higher on your hardness out of the tap, you're still going to need stain and scale control. If you're below 180 part per million, then you're totally fine with just using the Soft Skin Spa or the Silk Balance. Both of those are really good products, and if you guys aren't using it, it will change your world if you start using those products. Absolutely amazing. Definitely check them out. Andrea, hey, welcome back. I'm glad you're here. Do you recommend any aromatherapy crystals to add safely to the hot tub? I do. I like Inspiration. Don't go crazy with them, and I'd say it's a once a week kind of special treat type thing. But I do, yeah, the crystals I do recommend. I'm not a big fan of the liquids. I do not recommend putting the liquids in your hot tub. I feel that they plug your filters up quicker, but you can definitely use the Inspiration is the name brand that I recommend. Do not just go buy a bag of Epsom salt and throw that in your hot tub. That's a bad deal. You can't do that. You definitely need to get something that says good for a hot tub on there. I can add some links. I don't have any links on there right now, but I can add some links down below of what I would recommend. But Inspiration's a really good one. Go to your local hot tub dealer. They will give you some good advice on what to do on that. Again, I prefer the salts over the liquids, and I feel they last longer. Little pro tip, I highly recommend having eucalyptus mint in your house at all times. It is a phenomenal fragrance for when you get a cold. If you're just all stuffed up and nasty and yucky, definitely get some of that eucalyptus mint. I don't use it any other time other than the fact that I get a cold, but it smells like a Hall's cough drop, and it just cleans you out. It's amazing. So that's a good one. Thanks for that question as well. Everybody with me so far? Alkalinity, 40 and 180 is your maximum dosage there. pH at 7.6. Those are huge. Hardness. Like to see it around 150 on a chlorine hot tub. On a saltwater hot tub, has to be 75 part per million or less. Those of you who have saltwater hot tubs, if you do not have an on-the-go water softener or vanishing act, you are going to struggle with those hot tubs. So it's really important that unless your water out of the tap is less than that, I have never seen it personally. I've never seen it. I do live in the Midwest, but if your hot tub isn't at least 75 part per million, then you definitely want to get an on the go or a vanishing act. So that is like the most important on the saltwater systems, is getting that salt system in line. So we've got the products that you're going to need to have in your cabinet. You're going to need to have pH decreaser, pH increaser. My favorites are BioGuard. I don't care what brand you use. When it comes to water chemistry, any brand is fine. You could even, this area here is the one and only area that you could actually purchase pool chemicals and use in your hot tub. For your water balancing, you can definitely use pool chemicals in your hot tub. The only area that you can use pool chemicals in your hot tub is the balancing. So the things that you need in your hot tub are pH decreaser, pH increaser, alkalinity increaser, stain and scale control for a non-saltwater hot tub. For a saltwater hot tub, you do not need it. And you could possibly need calcium hardness increaser if you're on the lower side. So those are the things that you need to have in your chem kit. So again, I have descriptions down below of things that you can buy, of everything that we're talking about today. It's definitely down below. If you are, those of you in the UK that have really soft water, don't worry about that water softener. Those of us that live in the US and we have pretty hard water, you may want to consider the water softener. And if you're, again, not a salt system, you definitely want to just make sure you're using stain and scale control. Oh, I do need to talk about this. If your water ever gets cloudy, the first thing you need to test is your pH and alkalinity. High pH and high alkalinity will cause a cloudy hot tub, because the water just can't, the chlorine can't do what it needs to do. So if you have a cloudy hot tub, a high pH and high alkalinity will definitely add to that. So kind of keep that in mind as well. And your chlorine is so much more effective when your water is balanced. Like, it literally if you have balanced pH and alkalinity, your chlorine, whether you're making your own in a salt system or you have chlorine or you have bromine, if you have that chlorine and you have a properly balanced hot tub, it could literally be 80 to 100% more effective in a well-balanced hot tub than in a non-balanced hot tub. I have a lot of customers that'll be on bromine and they'll have super clear water and it'll look great, but typically their alkalinity is completely bottomed out because bromine is a super acidic product, and it'll actually take that bromine or take that alkalinity down to like next to nothing, and it'll cause extreme damage to the hot tub. That alkalinity at 0 is, I mean, it's muriatic acid. Everything I talked about muriatic acid earlier, a 0 alkalinity hot tub, you're causing the same problems. So it's really a big deal, and make sure that you keep those in line. So I'm hoping that is all helpful. The other thing, those of you on a salt water system, when your salt system is working perfectly and everything's totally dialed in and you're producing chlorine on the level that you need to be producing chlorine and all that good stuff, your pH is going to climb. That's just a residual of that salt system. So keep that in mind. So if that pH starts climbing too high, just add a little pH decreaser on occasion, and that'll definitely help you out on that. So kind of keep that in mind. Just every once in a while. I do have one customer up in the Brookings area that is actually, every 14 days he adds a teaspoon of pH decreaser on his salt system. And he said once he started doing that, everything started working really, really, really good. I'm not ready to jump on board on that completely yet, but if you're on a salt system and your pH, you find your pH is climbing, that's just a residual of salt. The whole process of turning the salt into chlorine actually produces high pH, so just kind of keep that in mind as well. Why balance is so important? It protects the hot tub and it protects you. So those are really big things that if your water is perfectly balanced, your hot tub is going to last longer. Hot tubs will last 20 years or longer. So keep that in mind. If you properly take care of your hot tub, it is 100% going to last you that long. If you don't, I've seen them be destroyed in a matter of, honestly, I've seen them go down as a matter of 3 months of somebody that has really, really abused their water chemistry. So water chemistry is super important. It saves you, it does save you money. It saves you money on repairs. It's super important that you do that. Your chlorine's gonna be more effective if you have properly balanced water. You're gonna enjoy your hot tub more. If you're ever itchy or you're just not enjoying the hot tub and you're smelling, like real acidic hot tubs, they smell bad. I mean, if you go to, they just stink. I mean, and they make the smells worse. So a properly balanced hot tub is not going to smell bad. So that's a big thing too. You know, everything is better if you have a properly balanced hot tub. How soon can I get in my hot tub after adding chemicals? That's a big question. A lot of people will ask that. For ultimately, the best thing to do is to treat your hot tub the day before you're going to use it, or if you use it and then you get done and do it the next day. On the balancers, so the pH and the alkalinity and the stain and scale and all of that, on those, if you put those in and you wait 20 minutes, 30 minutes, preferably an hour, you'll be okay. You can definitely do that. So grandkids are over, they want to be in the hot tub right now. Check it, you haven't checked it in a while and the pH is super low. Go increase that pH, tell them they gotta wait 20 minutes and give them a snack and then let them go in. You'll be okay. On balancers, when you start adding sanitizers, it's a whole nother ballgame. Sanitizers, you do want to give those time to work. You need to give those time to deal with whatever you need to deal with. So when I'm talking sanitizers, I'm talking chlorine, I'm talking Jacque, I'm talking bromine, in any of those type of things. But on those, it's definitely best to wait 24 hours to use those after you put those in. On balancers, you can get in your hot tub shortly after putting them in. It is best to let everything work. Again, I'm gonna put the disclaimer, if you guys are trying to balance your hot tub and you got high alkalinity or whatever, you put your chemical in and you test it 15 minutes later, don't do that. You're gonna totally waste your time. You're gonna drive yourself nuts. Wait 24 hours. So put the product in the hot tub, wait 24 hours, test it again, adjust accordingly. It's a huge deal. Just make sure that you guys are doing that. I think that is most of my questions that I had. I'm here to help you guys with anything and everything that I can help you out with. You guys can definitely reach out to me on Instagram. I had something messed up this last week and I wasn't getting my messages, but if you want to reach out to me on Instagram, DM me there. I'll definitely help you out by all means. If you guys are getting any value at all, I would totally appreciate it if you guys would support me on Buy Me a Coffee. It helps me do what I do and buy the stuff that I'm going to review. Don't forget to go to the hottublady.co. That's where you're going to find your 7-day hot tub care guide. You're going to find those dosage sheets that we just talked about. There's also an Additives cheat sheet and a saltwater cheat sheet. Everything that you're ever going to need for your hot tub is somewhere in there. And then also, guys, if any of you get stuck or you need help, I've had huge success in tons of customers. I've actually sold quite a few of them. But if you guys ever need just you and me on the phone, and we'll get on a Zoom call and you're going to show me your hot tub, you're going to show me your test strips, I will help you fix that stuff. And it is such a big deal. And everybody who has done it has just, the peace of mind that they've had from it has been amazing. But I do one-on-one coaching calls. Again, the links to that, the descriptions are down below. But check that out. Check out my website, and lots of good information there. I'm trying to get my blogs up to date, but we are definitely getting there as well. So guys, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell. You guys are the absolute best. Don't forget, I am doing podcasts now. So basically we are taking the podcast and we're taking this live stream, we're making that a podcast, so when you guys are commuting and stuff, you can hang out with me. And we absolutely, I want to be here to take care of you guys, and you are the absolute best. And just remember, be a happy hot tubber. That's my goal for you, is to help you become a happy hot tubber. Give me a thumbs up, and just remember, keep making life epic.